Hi everyone, it's the end of my first week back at uni today, and so far it's went pretty good. I'm enjoying the subjects of the modules that I'm doing. One is PR theory and strategy, and the other one's contemporary television. We've been talking about Big Brother, and I've been watching that, so that's quite handy, I suppose you could say. And the timetable is really quite spaced out for me as well. It's only 2 modules. I'm not really feeling as tired as I was when I was doing 4 modules, so that's been quite good. Although I do have a bit of a confession to make. I didn't go to my last lecture today. I had a little bit of a wobble today. I went to speak to someone in finance because I've gone part-time. I wasn't sure how my SAS funding was going to be affected. I was sitting in the little room talking to the finance man, and he was telling me that when you go part-time, you apparently aren't entitled to any funding at all. Your fees are fine, but the student loan section is unavailable to anybody part-time. I thought, first of all, that I would bring this to the attention of anybody who is maybe thinking about doing any kind of education part-time, just to bear in mind that if you're in Scotland, you'll need to double check what sort of money entitlement you have. I say I had a bit of a wobble. I was kind of sitting in this little room, and he told me that I wouldn't have any funding, and the first thing that came into my mind was that I wouldn't be able to afford my flat. I wouldn't be able to afford any of my bills, food, anything, travel. I wouldn't be able to afford any of it. And he went away to go and double check something, and I was sitting in that room for 10 whole minutes, and all I could think about was how I was probably going to have to just leave uni altogether and try and go back to full time after the summer. I was so upset. Thankfully there's no tears at the moment, but I was really struggling to hold them back when I was trying to talk to him. Everything was flashing in front of me. I didn't know what I was going to do. Would I have had to have gone job seekers allowance or ESA, or would I have had to have tried to get a full-time job? How was I going to tell my mum? That was the biggest thing. I had a little bit of a task trying to get her on board to the fact that I wanted to go back to uni a couple of years ago anyway. She wasn't particularly comfortable with the idea because she didn't think that financially I'd be able to do it and keep a flat. But pleasantly she was wrong, and I had been able to when I was full time. Really scared me today. I don't know what happened. I kind of started flaking out and started stressing out, and I just couldn't stop thinking about having to leave and having to choose again whether I wanted to keep a flat or if I wanted to get my degree. And I want my degree and I want my flat. I don't want to have to give either of them up. And I think it's really unfair that some people are put in the situation where they have to choose. And unfortunately for me, I don't have anywhere else to go. I am solely responsible for the roof that is over my head, and I have been for nearly a decade now, which seems strange because I'm only 25, but it's true. I've been living on my own since I was 16. I don't want to give up my home for anybody or for anything. But then I was speaking to a friend afterwards, and he said to me, you really need to think about when it comes to it, when it's crunch time, what's more important, living on your own or having your degree. Both are important to me because I can't have one without the other. Such a weird situation to be put in. But thankfully, the finance man was wrong, and it turns out that I am going to be okay and I will get some funding, because technically I'll be enrolled after the summer for 80 credits, which means that I'll be classed as a full-time student, which means I'll be able to get a loan or a bursary, so I will be able to afford my flat. So yeah, disaster averted, but I'm not going to lie, I was really overwhelmed and kind of flaked out, and I don't know what happened. I just couldn't face going into the class afterwards. I had all this horrible stuff running through my mind, and I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. In fact, I'm a lot disappointed in myself that I didn't go to my last lecture. But I do have all my work, and I'm prepared to get going with that over the weekend, and hopefully, in fact definitely next week, I will attend the lecture that I did miss today, and I intend to not miss any other classes whatsoever. But aside from that, yeah, uni went really well. I'm in a fairly good mood. I don't feel too tired or too stressed out now I'm home. Yeah, all in all, it was fantastic. So let's hope that it continues that way. Thanks for listening. Bye.